जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारि। यमुना तीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी श्री राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. जय जय श्री श्री राधा गिरधारी भगवान की जय, जगन्नाथ बलेश्वर भगवान की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you, Govinda. Really go all goes to Sumati Guru Hare Krishna, all goes to Sumati Guru Hare Krishna, all goes to Sumati Guru Krishna. Shri Guru Shri Guru all goes to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Just share my screen so we can start. We are continuing from Prabhupada Limiter, where we stop. If we can just confirm that everyone can see my screen.
Prabhuji, yes, we can see that, but you have to go start from a bit below from there.
Yeah, from here, Prabhu, right? For the Bahari crowd.
No, even below.
Okay.
Can you just Mike. No. Mike there. The last para, Mike there, from there. Last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada Limit Ki Jai. Mike, there was a little bit of familiarity because I had seen other Swamis. The way he was dressed, the way he looked, older and swarthy, weren't new to me. But at the same time, there was an element of novelty. I was very curious. I didn't hear him talk when I first came in. He was just chanting. But mainly, I was wanting to hear what he was going to say. I had already heard people chant before. I thought, why else would he put himself in such a place? Without any comforts, unless the message he's trying to get across is more important than his own comfort. I think the thing that struck me the most was the poverty that was all around him. This was curious because the places that I have been before had been just the opposite, very opulent. There was a Vedanta center in Upper Manhattan, and others. They were filled with stained older men with their leather chairs and pipe tobacco. That kind of environment. But this was real poverty. The whole thing was curious. The Swami looked very refined, which was also curious. That he was in this place. When he talked, I immediately saw that he was a scholar and that he spoke with great conviction. Some statements he made were very daring. He was talking about God, and this was all new. To hear someone talk about God. I always wanted to hear someone I could respect talk about God. I always liked to hear religious speakers, but I measured them very carefully. When he spoke, I began to think, well, there is someone talking about God who may really have some realization of God. He was the first one I had come across who might be a person of God, who could feel really deeply. Prabhupada is lecturing. Sri Krishna is just trying to place Arjuna on the platform of working in pure consciousness. Have already discussed for so many days that we are all not this dull body, but we are consciousness. Somehow or other, we are in contact with matter, therefore, our freedom is checked. Attendance is better now than it had been uptown. The loft offers us larger space. In fact, the platform where Prabhupada sits nearly equals the area of his entire office cubicle on 72nd Street. The dingy loft, with its unpainted rafters, is more like an old warehouse than a temple. The members of his audience, most of them musicians, have come to meditate on the mystical sound of the Swami's Kirtan. Carl, Carol, Gunter, Mike, David, the crowd from the Paradox, and others join him on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night when he holds classes beginning punctuality at 8 o'clock. The program consists of half an hour of chanting Hare Krishna, following by a lecture from Bhagavad Gita, usually 45 minutes long, and then a question and answer period and a Finally, and finally, another half hour of chanting, everything ending by 10 o'clock. The kirtan has just ended, and Swamiji is speaking. As spiritual beings, we are free to act, free to have anything, pure, no contamination, no disease, no birth, no death, no old age. And besides that, we have got many, many other qualifications in our spiritual life. When he speaks, he's uh, pure spiritual form. The Vedic scriptures say that a sadhu, a saint, is not seen but heard. If the people in the audience want to know Swamiji, they will have to hear him. He is no longer simply the old Indian immigrant who lives on the other side of the partition of this law, hanging his clothes to dry, barely getting his meals. But now he's speaking as the emissary of Lord Krishna, beyond time and space. And hundreds of spiritual masters in the chain of disciplic succession are speaking through him. He has entered amid New York's bohemians in 1966, saying that 1966 is temporary and illusory, that he is eternal and they are eternal. This was the meaning of the kirtan, and now he is explaining it philosophically, advocating a total change in consciousness. Yet, knowing that they can't take it all, he urges them to take whatever they can. You will be glad to hear that this process of spiritualization, once begun, guarantees one to have his next life as a human being. Once karma yoga it is begun, it will continue. It doesn't matter even if one fails to complete the course, still he is not loser. He is not loser. Now, if someone begins this yoga of self-realization, but unfortunately cannot prosecute this task in a nice way, if he fails down from the path, still there is encouragement that you are not a loser. You will be given a chance next life, and the next life is not ordinary life, next life. And for one who's successful, oh, what to speak of him. The successful goes back to Godhead. So we are holding this class, and although you have multifarious duties, you come here thrice a week and try to understand. And this will not go in vain. Even if you stop coming here, that impression will never go. I tell you, the impression will never go. If you do some practical work, that is very, very nice. But even if you do not do any practical work, simply if you give your submissive oral reception and understand what is the nature of God, if you simply hear and have an idea even, then you will be free from this material bondage. He's talking to a crowd who are deeply set in their hip life. He knows that they can't immediately give up taking drugs, and there they sit with their common law wives. Their part is to play music, live with a woman, and meditate sometimes, and be free after hearing this lecture. They all stay up all night. They will stay up all night with their instruments, their women, their drugs, their interracial bohemian scene. Yet somehow they are drawn to Swamiji. He's he's got the good vibrations of the Kirtana, and they want to help him out. They're glad to help because he has no one else. So Prabhupada is saying to them, that's all right. Even if you can only do a little, it'll be good for you. We are all pure spiritual souls. We are all pure spirit souls, but you have forgotten. You have fallen into the cycle of birth and death. Whatever you can do toward reviving your original consciousness is good for you. There is no loss. The Swamiji's main stress is on what he calls dovetailing your consciousness with the Supreme Consciousness. Krishna is the Supreme Consciousness, and Arjuna, as a representative, individual consciousness, is asked to act intelligently in collaboration with the Supreme Consciousness. Then he will be free from the bondage of birth, death, and old age and disease. Consciousness is a popular word in America. There's consciousness expansion, cosmic consciousness, altered state of consciousness, and now dovetailing the individual consciousness with the supreme consciousness. This is the perfection of consciousness, Prabhupada explains. This is the love and peace that is everyone is really after. And yet Prabhupada talks of it in terms of form. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
শুরু হচ্ছে গো।
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can hear you. Okay, what we do? Start the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayatu Dhiraye Nastaparaye Subhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Tamastaki Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna. So today's verse is from Canto 4, chapter 24, text 63. Tvam eka adhaya purusha sapta saktish taya raja sattva tamo vividyate mahan aham kham mura marud agnivardharaha surar sayo bhuta gana edam yataha tumeka adaya purusha sapta saktish taya raja sattva tamo vividyate mahan aham kham marud अग्निवार्धारः सुरर्षयो भूत कन इदं यातः त्वमेकादयः पुरुषा सप्तशक्ति तया राजा सत्त्वा तमो विभीत्यते महानहं खं मरु अग्निवार्धारः सुरर्षयो भूतगुण इदं यतः. Kindly request anyone else from Prabhuji who would like to read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Ramad Pranam Prabhu.
त्वमेकाध्याय पुरुषसुप्तशक्ति तया रजः षड्वतमो विदित्यते महानाहं खं मरुदाग्निवर्धरः शुष्याय भूतगणैदं यतः. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I am also trying.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
तमेकवाप्तः पुरुषः सुप्तशक्तिस्तया रजः सत्तमो विविद्यते महानहं खं मरुदग्निवर्धरः सुरर्षयो भूतगणा इदं यतः. हरे
Hare
कृष्ण.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mata. Hare Krishna, Mata. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I am also trying.
Krishna, Mata.
तमेक आद्य पुरुष सुप्त शक्ति तया रज सत्तमो विविधते महानहं खं मरुदग्निवर्धरः सूर्यशयो भूतगणा इदं यतः. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Synonym.
Hare Krishna, Vidya. I am also trying. त्वामेकाध्या पुरुषा सुप्तशक्ति तया राज
Mataji, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mata, you got kirtan happening at the back, so there's too much, there's noise from the background. But thank you, Mataji. Synonyms. Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna.
I try now. त्वामेकाध्या पुरुषा सुप्तशक्ति तया राजसत्त्वातमो विभिद्यते महानहं खं मारुदग्निवाधार सुरस्य यो भूतगणा इदं यतः Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata. Thank you so much. Synonyms. Tvam, your lordship. Ekaha, one. Adya, the original. Purusha, person. Supta, dormant. Sakti, energy. Taya, by which. Rajaha, the passion energy. Sattva, goodness. Tama, ignorance. Vibhityate, is diversified. Mahan, the total material energy. Aham, egotism. Kham, the sky. Marut, the air. Agni, fire. Vah, water. Dhara, dharaha, earth. Sura, Risaya, the demigods and the great sages. Bhutagana, the living entities. Idam, all this. Yataha, Brahman. Translation and proposed by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, you are the only supreme person, the cause of all causes. Before the creation of this material world, your material energy remains in a dormant condition. When your material energy is agitated, the three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, act. And as a result, the total material energy, egotism, earth, air, fire, water, earth, and all the various demigods and saintly persons becomes manifested. Thus, the material world is created. Purport. If the whole creation is one, that is nothing but the Supreme Lord or Vishnu, then why do the expert transcendentalists make such categories as are found in the above verse? Why do learned and expert scholars distinguish between matter and spirit? In answer to these questions, Lord Shiva says that spirit and matter are not creations of various philosophers, but are manifested by Lord Vishnu, as described in this verse, Tvam Eka Adaya Purusha. Spiritual and material categories are made possible by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But actually, there are no such distinctions for the living entities who are eternally engaged in the service of the Lord. There is only a material world for those who want to imitate the Lord and become enjoyers. Indeed, the material world is nothing but forgetfulness of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of everything. The distinction between matter and spirit is created by the sleeping energy of the Lord, and the Lord wants to give some facility to those living entities who want to imitate the Lord in his enjoyment. It is only for them that this material world is created by the dormant energy of the Lord. For instance, sometimes children want to imitate their mother and cook in the kitchen, and at such a time the mother supplies them with some toys so that the children can imitate her cooking. Similarly, when some of the living entities want to imitate the activities of the Lord, this material cosmic manifestation is created for them by the Lord. The material creation is therefore caused by the Lord through his material energy. It is but a glance of the Lord that the material energy is activated. At that time, the three material qualities are set into motion, and the matter and the material energy is manifested first in the form of the Mahat Tattva, then egotism, then ether, then air, fire, water, and earth. After the creation, the living entities are impregnated in the cosmic manifestation, and they emerge as Lord Brahma and the seven great rishis, then as different demigods. From the demigods come human beings, animals, trees, birds, beasts, and everything else. The original cause, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as verified herein, from Eka Adya Purusha. This is also confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachinananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. Those who are covered by the material energy cannot understand that the origin of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is summarized in the Vedanta aphorism Janmadhyasya Yataha, Vedanta Sutra 1.1.2. Krishna also confirms in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, Mata Sarvam Pravartate, Iti Matma Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. When Krishna says that he is the origin of everything, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, he means that he is even the source of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the Purusha avatars, the material manifestation, and all the living entities within the material world. Actually, the word Prabhava, creation, refers only to this material world. For since the spiritual world is eternally existing, there is no question of creation. In the Chatushloki of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord says, Aham evasam evagre. I was existing in the beginning before the creation. Bhagavatam 2.9.33. In the Vedas, it is also said, Eko Narayana Asit. Before the creation, there was only Narayana. This is also confirmed by Sankaracharya. Narayana Paro Avyaktat. Narayan is translated as the creation. Gita Bhasya. Since all the activities of Narayana are spiritual, when Narayana said, "Let there be creation," that creation was all spiritual. The material only exists for those who have forgotten that Narayana is the original cause. Just to the invocation prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurimitam Tasmai Shri Guru Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutali Sapadantika. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gauravinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram. Just read the translation one more time. My dear Lord, you are the only supreme person, the cause of all causes. Before the creation of this material world, your material energy remains in a dormant condition. When your material energy is agitated, the three qualities, namely goodness, passion, indulgence, act. As a result, the total metal energy, egotism, ether, air, fire, water, earth, and all the various demigods and saintly persons becomes manifested. Thus, the material world is created. Hare Krishna. Just to do a quick recap. So this chapter's title is Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. And it starts with Maitreya Muni telling Vidura about how Lord Shiva instructed the Pachetas. And Vidura, as a devotee of Lord, expressed his desire to hear more about Lord and from the instruction that Lord Shiva provided in Bhagavatam. And this section is known as Rudra Gita, which is a song sung by Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva starts this Rudra Gita firstly by paying his obeisances to the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Creator and Controller. And then he continues explaining his desire, Lord Shiva's desire of seeing and serving the Lord's glorious form. Because Lord is the proper object of prayer, shelter, and attainment. So from this, we see that we are all dependent on Lord, fully dependent on Lord, even for spiritual advancement. And Lord Shiva wishes to see the Supreme Lord form that is worshipped by his pure devotees, which leads to the aspect of devotional service, which is the topmost process, and it can only be attained by Lord's mercy and association of his pure devotees. Then Srila Prabhupada further explains that how one who desires to purify the existence must always engage in meditation at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Further continuing, it comes to the point where Srila Prabhupada, Lord Shiva, explains the relationship between the Lord and the material creation. How Lord is present everywhere as the Super Soul and as time and through his energies. Which brings us to today's text 63. Lord Shiva, continuing his prayers, says that, my dear Lord, you are the only supreme person, the cause of all causes. Cause of all causes. And Srila Prabhupada, within the purport, explains how Lord Shiva is clarifying or clarifies the distinction between matter and spirit as raised by different scholars. Matter and spirit are not creation. Matter and spirit are not creation of various philosophers, but are manifested as but are manifested by Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is highlighting the creation tattva of the Lord, how Lord is complete, and his creation, spiritual plus material, are only made possible by the Supreme Lord, who is Om Purna. Srila Prabhupada has further highlights the distinction that Lord Shiva says that spirit and matter are not creation of various philosophers. But then there is also no such distinction for the living entities who are eternally engaged in the service of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada explains this distinction between the matter and spirit. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 2, Lord answers Arjuna's inquisitiveness by explaining the difference between Kshetra and Kshetraguna. Kshetra being the field of activity, body, a material body, and Kshetraguna being the knower of the field, which is the soul. And also, Prabhupada says in that same in the purport that there's two Kshetraguna, one who knows its own individual body, and the other is Super Soul, who knows all of the Kshetras. With Kshetra, for the why this Kshetra is again being created, and it is only for the conditioned soul who wants to enjoy sense gratification and dominate material nature. Whereas Kshetraguna, the soul, it is the one who knows its individual body and is eternal. Whereas matter is temporary. Its existence is temporary. Also, the matter is the external potency of the Lord, whereas spirit is the marginal potency. But Prabhupada explains that the common point between both the matter and spirit, that they get triggered merely by the glance of the Supreme Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 6, text 3, it says, Suptam Karma Prabodhaya. Just as one is engaged in his work after awakening from sleep. Suptam, sleep. Karma, work. So just like when a person is engaged in his work when he wakes up from sleep, similarly, just by the mere glance of the Lord, the dormant matter, the dormant soul, they both get activated and they both engage in their work, their activity. So Lord, as I said, the common point is the Lord wakes up this matter and spirit using his dormant energy, engaging the soul just to give an opportunity to get liberated. Supreme Lord provides every opportunity for one who sincerely wants to serve. Just like a father who always does his best so that his son grows up to be a better person. And throughout the period, and he remains unbiased towards all of his kids. Same way, Lord being equal with everyone, provides everyone the opportunity to come back. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, he had a wonderful desire to glorify the Lord, but he didn't knew anything. And Lord, just by touching Dhruva Maharaj with his conch shell, all the knowledge gets transferred. Matasmiti Jnanam Apohanam. So Lord wants us to come back. But what is stopping us from going back to the Lord? It is the desire of the conditioned soul who wants to lord over the material world. It wants to enjoy, it wants to control. And because of which, Lord creates this material world, which is full of miseries. And it has the four defects. Miseries, it is illusion, where people have cheating propensity and we all want to do sense gratification. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that at that time, the three material qualities are set into motion. And the material energy is manifested first in the form of the Mahatattva, then egotism, then ether, then air, fire, water, and earth. So, and this is when the conditioned soul comes in contact under the spell of modes, forget its birth giving father and its relation to him. As a result, he gets trapped under the effect of the three modes of material nature. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 4, Lord says, Sarvayoneshu Kanteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tas Tasam Brahma Mahadyoni Aham Bija Pradapita. So, all species of life, son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, the mother, and that I am the seed-giving father. So Krishna is the father and Prakriti is the mother of all jivas. And Prakriti, being the material nature, puts the soul unto the three modes of material nature, under which it falls into illusion. Just like the scorpion seems to be born out of rice, but in truth, it is the mother scorpion who lays its egg in piles of rice. Similarly, Lord is the seed-giving father. But the conditioned soul forgets its true source. And as a result, it becomes nibadnanti. They get bind in what? Dehe dehinam avaya, in the material world, in the material body world. But when such conditioned souls builds a desire through transcendental knowledge, through Rajavidya, Rajagunya, the king of all knowledge, secret of all secrets, by the mercy of the Lord, or through his devotees, pure devotees, gets awakened from its sleeping state and realizes its true identity, its true relationship to the Supreme Father, who is creator of this material world. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 19, Yo mam evam asamudo janti purushottama sa sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharat. Whoever knows me as Supreme Personality of Godhead is a knower of everything. He engages in devotional service unto me. So one who knows the Supreme Lord, one who is awakened of his true identity, doesn't waste time and engages in his devotional service. One realizes that at that point, one realizes that Lord is the source of everything. As Prabhupada says in the purport, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. He's the source of everything. He's the source of the material creation. He's the source of the material nature. He's the source of even the demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. all the avatars. But whereas the spiritual world is eternal, and there is no question of creation. Lord is Ajo Api, son Avyayatma. He is unborn, he is Aja. As Lord is unborn, similarly, Lord's part and parcel, the spiritual soul, Anu, is also unborn, is also eternal. But due to its interaction, or due to its interaction with the material world, it forgets that it has the same quality as the Lord, but not in the same quantity. And only by the mercy of the Lord, it's awakened of its real state. So within this purport, Lord Shiva is glorifying the Lord, stating that he is the controller, he is the supreme controller and creator of the material world, and is the original seed-giving father. Ambijapata. And why does Lord create this material world? It creates the material world to give the spirit soul an opportunity, a chance to go back from material world to the spiritual world. And that is only possible by the change of desire from lording it over to serving the Lord. The whole purport, or the whole, we can see that Lord Shiva's desire to glorify the Lord leads to this point of reflecting how Lord is the supreme creator. Similarly, a conditioned soul's desire to lord over leads him to miseries. And same time, when this desire changes, after one realizes its true spiritual identity, the spirit soul then engages in the service of the Lord to go back to Godhead. And this is only possible by the mercy of the Lord in the form of this Rajapitya, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, as much as this knowledge is distributed to other conditioned souls, there's a chance of them understanding and realizing that it's not them, it's not the material nature, it's the Supreme Lord who is the original creator. It's an art, and their original task is, or original job is to serve this Supreme Creator. And this material world only exists for those who have forgotten that Supreme Lord, who is the original cause. So, as devotees of the Lord, we should take it over as an opportunity for us to distribute this knowledge to others and help others to go back. So, this Saturday is Gita Jayanti. We all can take it upon us to distribute the knowledge of God, Bhagavad Gita, the song sung by God Himself, to others, if possible. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18.68, Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva abhit hashyati bhakti mai param kritva mam evashyati asamsayam. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, such a beautiful explanation of the text. And we have narrated the whole thing in a very short way to make it understand for us why we have come to this material world and what is the way to go back again so nicely with the several connection from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So understanding that nothing to worry, even though you are in this material world, you have a chance to go back. And that is how through Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 is telling us, Lord teaching, that though you are in this material world, never mind, there is a process by following that you can go back. And this is how he explained the Gita Jayanti is coming on the 24th of December. So it's an opportunity for all of us to distribute this knowledge. Even though we are in this material world, there is every possibility going back. So not to worry about that. Just be in the line, be in touch with the devotees, be in touch with ISKCON, and you will realize the difference and the ways to go back to the Godhead. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
enlightening
much.
order.
Thank you so
Hare
much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Gita Jayanti is on 23rd, which is on Saturday, but the temple is celebrating it on Sunday.
Yeah, yes. Oh, 20, oh, sorry.
It will be great if we can just distribute maybe Bhagavad Gita on 23rd, and yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you for the very nice class, and particularly bringing out the point that Prabhu has just told, that we are in this material world because of our desire to win, to lord over, excluding the Lord Krishna, who is really the Supreme Lord. But as you have nicely pointed out, that we have the opportunity to go back, and this knowledge that we can go back to Godhead only by the mercy of the Lord, and that mercy can be obtained only through by serving the Vaishnavas and other devotees. So, and this knowledge is very important, and all of us, not only for those who have learned it, but it is very important that we spread this message to others, for which Prabhupada has created ISKCON, or the Krishna consciousness, the consciousness by which we can go back to Godhead. And it is a great opportunity in the coming Gita Jayanti or any other similar occasions to spread this message to others who are still not aware of it. And Gita Jayanti is a great opportunity for us to spread the message of this message through the books Prabhupada has written and our acharyas have explained. So it is a great opportunity. We should take advantage of that. And in this way, not only we make ourselves engaged in serving the Lord and get the mercy of our Guru Maharaj and other devotees, and similarly we can spread the message to others also, so that they can get the opportunity to go back to the Godhead, for which Prabhupada has made so much endeavor. And it would be a great tribute to him if we can participate it and make it a success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, if there's no comments or questions, or request, Prabhu, if you can just.
Yeah, it appears, Prabhu, there is no other person to make comments. So the class can be, you can control the class. Vancha
Kalpataruभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय हिज ग्रेस सुमति निताई प्रभु की जय श्रील
Srila
प्रभुपाद
Prabhupada
की
ki
जय
jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि
Hari
हरि
Hari
बोल
Bol.
all glories to assembled devotees
devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna.